So, end of the road. Top 5 49er players who have to step up now. Number 3, Danny Gray. This is definitely a make or break year for this guy, because he can either make the roster as the final receiver, but he's going to have a deep competition this year. So it's going to be a lot tough for him to even make this roster. From the previous years, he had an opportunity to definitely make this team easily, but now he just hasn't been given the opportunity to prove to the coaching staff. So the more you realize that the coaching staff just don't seem confident. They don't seem that much confident to the point to where they had to get somebody off the practice squad. I don't know what to say about the coaching staff. If they're not confident about this kid, then I don't know what to say, you know? The guy's got speed. The guy's got the ability to make some big-time plays. But I guess he just hasn't shown that he can be a good blocker or shown to be a dependable wide receiver. Because every offseason, he kind of seems like he can break out and then he disappears. This has been going on since we drafted him in the 3rd round coming out of SMU. This guy had 4.33 speed, you know? This guy can be a guy that can put a top off the defense. The Niners have been missing that kind of type of receiver, but he hasn't shown it. Danny Gray, from those first 2 years, he's only registered 1 catch for 10 yards. That's all he's produced. He hasn't done nothing. He's been like deactive. You know, he's been inactive all season. And even when he was coming off the injury, they still didn't play him. So it's pretty much do or die for this guy. So he has to stand out. So even at this point, even if he's the 6th receiver on the roster, that means he's proven to make the team, because this is a deep receiver roster so far. The Niners are definitely serious about improving the wide receiver position. So they got definitely 5 receivers locked for that roster spot. The number 6 spot is pretty much open. It's pretty much anybody's game. Ronnie Bell is a guy that actually outbeat him last year for playing time. And Chris Conley took significant snaps. Willie Snead too. I mean, we can go on with these wide receivers, but it doesn't seem like they're really that confident with Danny Gray. Like, they don't even try to put him out there. They didn't even try him to return kicks or none of that stuff. So it kind of comes to the point where maybe they're going to move on, because this is pretty much the end of the road for him. He has to stand out, or else this is over for him. I think he'll have to go to another football team or possibly be on our practice squad, because there's just no way we're going to keep a guy on this roster if he hasn't shown in those 2 years with the Niners. You know, if he hasn't shown enough, then what's the point of keeping him? This kind of proves that it was a wasted draft pick, because we thought for a moment maybe the big speed can actually give this Niners offense to the next level. Something that we've been missing since Marquise Goodwin. You know, Marquise Goodwin has some deep type of speed. We needed that on that offense, but we never were able to get that since we let him go. So we figured maybe Danny Gray can give us something like that, but it just hasn't really translated well. What he did in college was spectacular. You would think maybe this kind of talent can make you take it to the next level. And Emmanuel Sanders came from that college too, by the way. So you would think maybe this guy might be our next Sanders. But no, he hasn't came that close to Emmanuel Sanders type level. He's kind of been more of a disappointment. So he's going to have to find a way to get out of that doghouse, because the moment you're on Kyle Shanahan's doghouse, it is hard to get out of that doghouse. That means you're pretty much out of favor. You could either be gone by next year, and you could forget about your opportunities, because the moment you can't make this roster, you're going to have to audition elsewhere. I mean, look at Dante Pettis and quite a few other receivers who've been let go. So this is pretty much it for him. So let me know what y'all think, man. I just think this is definitely, he has to step up, man, or else this is it for him. So let me know what y'all think, man.